Boards and booze, booze and boards, drinks and beers, fight some hordes. Drank too much, forgot our swords, ran back home, filled our gourds, got drunk again, sang some chords. Boards and booze and boards, with Mickey and Jeb. Hi everyone, Booze and Boards with Mickey and Jeb. I'm Jeb, he's Mickey, and today we are slowly rising up the Yedo box. That is what we will be playing. It's Yedo, Japanese worker placement, and by Japanese I mean Japanese theme. So, I don't know if there's a specific Japanese style of worker placement.
I don't think so. But that's the theme anyways.
Yep.
It's actually historical. I'm assuming that stuff's true and if you read the intro.
Yeah, I believe it is.
It used to be Yedo, and then they had their own currency, and then they switched to the yen. And so, if you want a history lesson, just read the rules.
Yep. Yeah. And there's lots of cool stuff like ninjas and assassinations and
it's
red light districts.
So worker placement, Yedo. Who's the?
We got Pandasaurus Games is the publisher, and the guys who made it. It's on the box. It's Thomas Van Ginst and
Wolf Planch
or Plank. I don't know. Again, we apologize for the names. We always mess them up.
We're not very good at names.
We only know our own names. so I don't know if there's anything else to begin the video with. Just we're playing Yedo, Japanese worker placement.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of times when I'll at least say that a lot of times if you're looking on Facebook or something like that, and people ask for worker placement suggestions, it doesn't pop up a lot. It does pop up, but not like some of the staples. So. During the review we'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's definitely one, that it seems to be pretty good, but we'll hit on that more. And on another note, we have a Facebook page now, so you can look it up and you can give us a like on Facebook.
Yes.
So I guess since I don't think there's much more to say about the introduction, we'll get right into, there's a lot to go over for setups and pieces, parts, and things like that. So we'll get right to it. So we'll see you in a second.
Also in the description there should be links to parts of the video. So if you do want to skip the gameplay, if you know how to play or skip the setup or any of that stuff, you can do that and go straight to the gameplay and just watch that. Up to you. If you watch everything, you can tell us all the mistakes we made.
No mistakes.
Okay.
No mistakes. You just had a bad day with Lost Woods.
Oh yeah. All right. So we'll get to the setup and explanation. Then we'll do a 4-player game with our guest stars, Hailey and Kim.
They're regulars now.
Yeah, I know. I think they've probably been in more episodes than us.
We need different guest stars because they're making fun of us now, too.
Alright, so we'll start with the setup.
Right.
The object of the game is to earn the most prestige points, which are pretty much victory points. And as Mickey's pointing out, there's a track that goes along the board that keeps track of everybody's prestige points. The next thing is we'll go over the parts of the board themselves. So we'll start with the action cards, which are the orange-backed cards, and that's what they look like, and they get placed there. That's where they're housed. The next thing is the bonus cards, and they are the purple-backed cards, and they get placed next to the action cards up top. Next are the weapons, which are placed next to the bonus cards, and these are what the weapons look like. They're little tile-ish things. And you'll place them on that side. Right next to it's their discard pile. After that are the 4 annexes, and they are just put there. They're going to be places that you can buy during the game. And after the annexes are the geisha, and the geishas are represented by these tokens. And there's a little place where you place all the geisha tokens.
Not all, well.
Well, yeah, depending
based on the number of players, but yeah.
After the geishas are the disciples, and the disciples are this little area that So like if I'm green, I get I think 4 disciples to start with and 2 extra ones. And the 2 extras would be placed in this district. So this
you start with 2, and then you can buy more disciples as you go along.
Okay, so all the extra ones that you can buy would be in that district. Or, well, it's not really a district, but after that is the mission cards, which, as you can see, there's 4 different colors: black, red, yellow, and green. The easiest ones to accomplish are the green, and it works up in difficulty, so black is going to be the hardest missions to complete. Then there is the events, which are in the bottom corner. They're blue backed, and the discard pile, or it's not really a discard, you place it, and that's what the active event is for that turn. Then, as we've already mentioned, there's the score track that goes around the board.
That's the score track. The outermost edge is the score track.
And then inside, along the score track for part of it, is the round track.
So you got 11 rounds, so that'll increase each round.
Yep. Then there is the, I guess it's egress space and the bidding track. So those 2 are up in the corner.
The big long thing where it has 3 coins is the egress. We'll explain that later. And then the 1 through 5, right by it, is the bidding track. And then right beside that
is the order track. After that, there is the Watch Patrol Circuit, which is in the very center of the board. And as you can see, there are 2 colors of the Watch Patrol. And depending on which color the Watch Patrol is the direction that he'll move. So
the blue guy goes this way, and the red guy goes this way.
And there's only ever 1 on the board, but there are ways that it can switch color. So we'll go over that later. And finally are the districts, which make up the main part of Yedo. You've got the...
They're color-coded.
Yeah, the red one is the red light district.
Yellow.
Yellow is the market district. What is that, orange is the temple district.
Purple.
Purple is the castle district.
Which is the only one that slightly plays a little bit different.
The green is the gates district. What is that, brown is the tavern district. And the blue is the harbor district. So those are the different places that you can send your guys to do stuff.
Right. And you also have, this is what the money in the game looks like?
Yep, so money is color-coded.
1, 3, and 5s. And it has the, probably can't see it, but the numbers are on there.
Yep.
And it's silver, gold, and copper. Or bronze, whatever.
There are blessing tokens, and these would be put at the temple. So that's what they look like, little circles with Buddha hands. There is a coin for determining the watch patrol, and all it is a
red or blue side.
Yeah, and you just flip it. We'll explain that.
There are also some blocks, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
So this is where you would place on the squares. You would place your meeples when you want to do something, but these come into play based on number of players, so that you would cover these up if there's less players, so that it makes, so that it basically scales better in the game.
Yep, I believe 2 players or 3 players is the most of those that will be on the board, and then a 5-player game has none on the board.
Right.
And it scales accordingly. Another token is this token, and that's pretty much the one that means the district is
closed and you can't go there.
So what you would do is just cover the center of the district, and that means you can't place anything there, and it fits on all of them for whenever you need to place it. And I think the last card that we have not talked about, or it is over there, that is the...
Everybody gets one of these, though. The blackmail cards, but I forget what the front are called. So I'll show you what the... So basically what's going to happen is you're going to... The last player is going to get to pick one of these first and get whatever's on here. And then all of the backs are the same. They're a blackmail card, which lets you do... so they're all the same, but it lets you... One of your disciples that would be arrested, you get to escape, which comes into play here.
pretty much says that for everyone.
Yeah, they're all the
Everybody gets
same.
a blackmail card.
The only parts that are different are the fronts, but like I said, the person that ends up having to go last first turn gets to be the first one to pick whichever one of these want.
And at the beginning of the game, you instantly get that bonus.
Right, exactly. So. And then the blackmail, if for some reason you don't have to use it during the game, it's going to be worth extra victory points.
Yep. The name of those are, I found it. It was the Favor of the Shogun card.
Favor of the Shogun. Woohoo!
So I think that's about it for the board itself.
And then, so every player is based on whatever color they're going to be, gets a clan card.
So on the left side of it, or if you're looking at the left side has
all about how to play around.
Yep.
So it's a nice cheat sheet. This is going to be missions that you have not completed yet over here.
Yep.
Also, to keep in mind that every one of these sections, I don't know how well you can see it, but it tells you what's the maximum amount you can have. If you ever go over the maximum, you have to discard. The only place that doesn't have a maximum is over here.
Yep.
Because your completed missions, you can get as many as you want, and the annexes, you can only have one of each. And then you can hold one blessing and 3 geishas.
Yep. So bonus cards, action cards, and weapons are stored underneath. You got the missions on the left and right. As Mickey said, the annexes. And then your counters that you can hold in the middle.
Also, again, I don't know how clear it is, but the annexes are also list what they do if you decide to put one of your meeples there. So that's a nice little sheet.
And the
remind how the game goes.
Yeah, the cool thing is each player, they're different colors, but they all have different clan names. So while everything is the same on all of them, there's a little bit of flavor to it.
Now that you have an idea of what some of the components look like and where they go on the board, we'll get into a little more depth during setup. So obviously you're going to put the board in the middle so that everybody can see it and reach it. And then you take the action cards, which are the orange ones. And just real quick, there are 2 levels for the game. There are some cards, it's going to be really hard to see.
In the top right.
In the top right, it'll say Samurai. Those are more difficult cards. So if you want, you can take them out. When we actually play, we are going to take them out. So you can put the Samurai cards to the side if you want. Otherwise, you just shuffle up all the decks and put them on the appropriate color. You just got to remember which is which. And the like we said earlier, the orange ones are the actions. The blue ones I'll pass over to Jeb. They're the events. He can take the samurais out of that.
Yeah, the events and the actions are the only ones that have samurai cards.
And then the purple are the bonus cards.
And we got weapons up here.
The weapons all get shuffled up, stacked, and then you take the top 2 of the weapons and you place them in the market on the 2 spots furthest to the right, which are both 6 cost. So you probably can't, it's probably a little blending, you probably can't see it, but this is a 6, and this is a 6, and then 8, 8, and 8. Okay?
After that are placing the blessings in the temple, and that is equal to the number of players, so we'll just assume we're doing a 4-player game. So the 4 blessings go there.
Set right there. Just put all the money beside the board. Somebody can be the banker, just same as in most other games. And then 3 money is going to go into the church.
And the church is right here in the market district.
That's actually the harbor.
Yeah, sorry, the harbor district.
Okay, Jeff, what marketplace is that with a boat?
After that, we'll place the annexes and geisha, depending on the number of players. So
the geisha for 4 players is 6.
6 geisha.
Yep.
All right, so I will grab those. And how many of the?
And for 4 players, you get 3 tiles of each one.
I believe there's only 4.
Yeah. So if it was a 5-player game, they would all go out.
Yep. So
and you probably realize that since it's scaling like this, that if you run out of something, too bad. You're out of luck. Then the other things that are beside the board are the inaccessible counter. That'll just sit beside the board. The round marker, which is the gray marker, is gonna fall off
Go
the table.
to the floor.
Put it in round 1. And then Jeb is gonna flip the Watch Patrol coin. And it's blue.
So we'll put the blue guy, and he starts in the gate district.
That's right.
After that, some spaces will be maybe blocked depending on the number of players. And
So in a 4-player game, the only one that goes out is on the Temple District.
Yep.
So 1 gets blocked there.
so
That's it.
You just look at the rule book for
Yeah, it has pictures of exactly where you put the
blocking spaces. After that, each player gets 4 disciples. 2 get placed in the reserve.
right.
So I will, for example, be yellow. Here's the 4 that I keep. And then,
You get 4. You put 2 over here. Jeb.
yeah.
He keeps wanting to take them all.
Yeah. I see get 4 and I'm like, oh, I get 4. So
No, you don't.
You start with 2 and the other 2 go into
That's right. And so everybody will have 2 over there.
After that, we will place the markers on the player order track. So yellow has that, and that'll go on player order. And say he's first player. Why not?
Yeah, you do this randomly. Here,
And
give me a
then-
color of each. And it actually starts the same.
So the order track and the bidding track will have the same order at the start of the game.
Right.
And some stuff during the game can switch around those tracks. So, and then the score track also gets 1 for everybody. So
Yeah.
they all start on the 1 space. Everybody gets 1 prestige at the
Yeah.
beginning of the game.
I think I missed that, but it is color-coded red, so that you don't
Yeah.
forget.
And then there are the mission cards, which I have placed over here. The 4 different colors.
Shuffle them up and put them on their appropriate color. Again, just to reiterate, green is the easiest, black is the hardest.
Yep. To begin, everybody gets 4 mission cards.
Starting with...
First player.
Yep.
And those 4 can be anything, but at least one of them has to be red or black. So you could do 3 greens and a red, a green, a yellow, a red, and a black. Whatever you want. You got to have 4 of them, and one of them must be red or black.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is the advantage to the last player again. So when you start doing the mission cards, it's the last player on the order track gets to take the top card of any of the 4 mission decks, and they keep it. And then and then you go up the order tracks. Jeb said at least one of your missions has to be red or black.
Yep.
So you can't take all green to start.
So we'll take, yellow's going to take 3 green and a red. So that's what yellow got. After that, each player gets 12 mon, which are
Money.
the money. So I'm going to give 12 mon to yellow. And then everybody gets an action card and a favor of the shogun card. So if you want to grab an action card for yellow, although yellow is a bad example since he's number 1, but whatever. So he got 1, and then the favor of the shogun cards. Since he's first, he would be the last to choose, but we're just going to randomly give him 1. And we'll give him the one with the blessing. So he automatically receives a blessing, so he would take the blessing counter and put it on his player board, flip the card over, and now he has the blackmail card available to him at any point during the game that he wants to use it, and I believe it goes away after you use it. So.
It does, because if you hold it to the end of the game, you get 2 extra prestige points.
Yep. And I think that's it for setup.
After, everybody gets a clan board.
Everyone
So
gets
the
a
yellow
clan board.
the yellow guy would have gotten. I'll let Jeb say that clan name.
Toyotomi.
There you go.
Alright, so I will put it off to the side for now. So an overview of the game is that it's played over 11 rounds, and each round consists of 7 phases. There's 2 difficulties you can choose from, either the geisha, which is normal, or the shogun, which is difficult.
Which is what we talked about, taking the samurais out of the game.
Yep, and in the rulebook there's a couple of spaces that will tell you which difficulty will mean what kind of setup. So it's
not overbearing. There's just a couple things where it's like you do something different. It's not like, oh my gosh, I have to learn a whole new set of rules.
Right. As we said, there's 11 rounds, and then at the end of the game, it ends, and you look at the victory points. So the way rounds work, the first thing you do in a round is the prep phase.
But since we really haven't done anything, we'll come back to the prep phase after we move stuff around on the board and kind of show you how it works. Is that a good idea?
Yes, because on the first turn...
You don't do it.
Yep. So after the skipped prep phase on the first turn, you do the bidding phase. And the way the bidding phase is that all the players participate in auctions. And at the beginning of that, if you don't want to participate, you will take your token on the bidding track and just move it to the egress base.
And automatically get 3 money.
Yep, and you take 3 money for doing that
so
since you're not participating.
We'll say, start of the bidding phase, and blue's going to be like, I'm out.
Yep. So
if they go over there, they won't participate in any of the bidding, and they'll get their 3 coins and they'll sit it out while everybody else does the bidding.
Yep. After that is the highest marker on the bidding track. That player gets to choose a category to bid on, and they place the starting bid. So if you can see on the board, there are
little circles.
There's circles under each of these.
So this would be
item.
where you would indicate that you want to bid on.
In this case, yellow is at the top of the track. So say yellow wants to bid on action cards. So next to the space is a number, and that is the minimum bid that the player deciding what they're bidding on has to bid. So yellow would have to bid 3.
At least 3.
I believe it has to.
Oh, you're right. He may not bid more or less. Okay, so you're right.
So yeah, yellow would bid 3 for an action card, and then what would happen next is, I guess in order.
Yeah, in order coming down.
So red would then get a chance to bid, so they could bid 4 if they wanted to, and then green would get a chance and say they want to bid 5. So now green has placed the highest bid, and since that's all the players that are participating, yellow gets one final chance to bid. And if they bid 6, then they win. So what would happen is
they would pay the money.
They pay the 6 that they bid. Their marker would be placed on that circle.
So let's say that yellow actually won.
Yep.
And then it says there's a legend down here that tells you what happens if you win. So they would be able to take 3. Look at the top 3 action cards. They turn them over. They read them. They get to pick which one they want, and then they take the 2 that they don't want and they put them on the bottom. Okay? So.
And that's all secret.
Right. That's all secret. Nobody knows. So, to go over it again real quick, just so that you understand this bidding phase. It goes in order of the bidding track. That's the bidding track. You have to start with whatever the minimum bid is here. You can't go over, so you can't try to block somebody out or make them spend more money, because that person that starts it is going to get a last chance to bid. That's why they do that. So this is 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 3, 3. That's it. Okay? So you're going to be able to do the action cards, the disciple space, the geisha space, the annexes, the weapons, the bonus cards, and the action cards, and then you just, after that's done, whoever won is obviously out of the bidding, and then the person that's still highest on the track is going to repeat the process until everybody does it, or drops out.
Yeah, and that's another thing to mention is if you don't want to, if say red now wants to, it's their turn to bid, and they don't want anything, they can drop out. But they don't get 3 money. You only get the 3 money if you drop out at the beginning.
The only reason I think that you would want to drop out is if you don't, you absolutely don't need anything and don't want to spend any money. Okay, so after the bidding phase is over, the next phase is the event phase. So there's 2 things that always happen in the event phase. You adjust the market. So let's say
it's the first turn you wouldn't do this.
Right, so well, we wouldn't remove these, but so this would get filled the rest of the way up.
Yeah, and the first round of the game, you would just take 3
Right.
and put them in.
Sorry, I didn't know where Jeb was going with that,
Yeah.
but I was getting ahead of myself a little bit. I was going to show you what happens in future rounds once some stuff is gone.
Yeah.
So let's say this one was out of there.
Somebody bought that
Right.
magic, and then they might have bought this as well. A different. So that's all that's remaining. And now pretend we're in round 2. If we want to adjust the market, or we have to adjust the market during the event phase, what we do is remove.
You slide the 2 leftmost weapons over to the right.
So these would be the 2 leftmost.
Yep.
They would go all the way here, and this thing, which nobody bought, is now gone.
Onto the 6 spaces. So they fill in the 6 spaces. The other weapons that are previously on the 6 spaces, if they were there, and the one in the middle space, if there's still any left, get dropped out, and then you fill with 3 more. So on the first turn, you're just automatically filling, but then after that, you're adjusting the market.
Yep.
That's how you adjust the market. That is actually one of the things in this game that is a little bit weird until you've done it a couple times. But it's basically fill in, by sliding over, fill in these 2 spots, removing what was ever there, and then put 3 more in. If you can remember that,
Yep.
that's how it works.
And then the other thing that you do in the event phase is revealing an event card, which down here are the event cards.
Yep.
You would just flip it and then read it to everyone, and something happens, and you put it here as the current event.
And that's in effect for this whole round.
Yep. And then the next round you do the same thing. So that's how the events work.
And that might be one of the cases where it blocks an entire district, and then you would put the district down. A lot of things can happen, but
Yeah.
that's an example of one of the things that could happen.
All right.
Alright, so now this is kind of the meat of the game. Now you get to assign your meeples to wherever you want.
So you would do that in turn order. So yellow is the starter guy.
I'll go to the market.
All right. And then who's next? Red.
Sure.
So red's going to the temple.
And then blue's going to go
Blue
somewhere.
there, green there, and then everybody does it again because
Right,
you got
because you have
2. And then
Later on, you might have more.
yeah,
For instance, if you bid during the bid phase on disciples and you won it, you would get a disciple. So now you'd have 3 meeples. So it goes in order and until you don't have any, and then it would pass over. So if everybody had 2 and somebody had 3, they'd get to place an extra one.
yep. So
Pretty simple.
in this phase, everybody just places.
Okay.
After that is the watch patrol phase, and what that does is the first thing, the watch patrol moves 1 district. So since he's blue,
he's going this way.
yep.
And now everybody has a chance.
For the influence movement.
Yep,
So if
so
you
you-
have any action cards that are like, play this at this step of the game, you could play it. Sometimes it prevents him from moving. Sometimes it makes him go backwards.
Yep.
Whatever you can
And
play.
the cards actually say on them what phase this card can trigger. So we were in phase 5, the watch patrol phase. So there might be a card like Jeb said that said, play during phase 5, move the patrol an extra space.
Yep.
And then, just like he said, it would go forward 1.
All right. And then after everybody decides whether they want to do something or not, is the capturing. So since arresting, yeah. So well, So he moved into the temple, or not the temple, the
Kingdom or
castle,
palace or whatever it's called,
castle district. So since there is a person there, he is going to arrest them, right?
Right.
So what that does is you would take any meeples that are in this district, and they go
into the reserve.
Not
to go below 2. You always have two meeples. So
if green had 3, he would be arrested and put here. If he only had 2, he'd just be returned to green's player board.
That's correct.
After that is the trade phase, and the trade phase works in 2 districts, the market and the tavern. So it begins with the market, and say red and yellow were here, they would be able to trade weapons or money. So
in this district, there's weapons, and you can always trade money. So those 2 could trade those 2 things.
Yep. And then if we've got blue and green down here, we would check the tavern, and there you can trade cards, weapons, geisha, or money. So there's more trading, or there's more of a variety of things to trade down there.
And the cards include any uncompleted mission cards, action cards, or bonus cards. Keep in mind that you cannot give away what it is. Like, you can't say, I have this card. You could be like, Jeb, I'm pretty sure based on what I see, this card would be really good for you, but you can't downright say what you're giving them.
Yep. And then after that is the action phase.
Yes.
And what you do in that is, in player order, you activate one disciple at a time. So Yellow's to begin, so he can activate his player.
So what I
pick
can
one of his.
So what I can do, there's two options on, for instance, the weapon district or market district. Sorry, I can purchase one of these for whatever that cost is, or I can, for 2 coins. Am I saying that right?
You can trade in a bonus card or an action card to get 2 coins.
I said it backwards. The arrow's pointing, and I should realize that. So you can get some money.
Yeah, over here in the temple, if you have a meeple here, you could either get a blessing as the action, or you could take the top 3 of one of these decks, of the mission decks, or top 3 of the event decks, and rearrange them in any order you want.
Yes. Also keep in mind is that you can't hoard the blessings. So if you've already got one, you're going to be doing this.
Yes, on your player board, there's only one spot for a blessing.
And you can't stay. Same with the geishas, you can only take,
3 maximum.
Right.
Well, let's skip over that one. So we'll do the red light district.
Right.
What are your 2 actions you can do there, Mickey?
So I can get, for either 8 coin or 2 victory. I forget what that is. 2 prestige, I can get a geisha.
Yep.
So it's either or.
And then the other thing you can do is,
I can spend 4 coin to get an action card.
Yep. Over in the harbor district, you have 3 things you can do. Or actually, 3. So first thing is, you're able to spend money to buy prestige. So you could spend 4 money to buy 1 prestige, or 9 money to buy 3. So you're getting a better deal if you do the big one.
But you might not be able to afford it because something else happened.
Yep. The next thing you can do is look at the top 3 bonus cards and shuffle them. And then the last thing...
Shuffle them or rearrange them?
Yeah, sorry. Rearrange the top 3. And then the last thing you can do is take all the money that's in the temple. Or the church. I think it's the church. So...
Is the church automatic, or is that one of the things you have to choose? I can't remember.
You have to choose.
Okay, alright.
Next is the tavern.
And in the tavern, you can look at the top 3 can't talk. Look at the top 3 weapons and rearrange those in any order, or you can pay 11 to buy an annex that you don't already own. Yep.
After that is the gates district. This one lets you look at the top 3 bonus cards and rearrange them however you want. You can spend this portion is, I think, called begging, where you give up prestige points to get money. So you can give up 1 prestige for 3 money. So the other thing you can do besides begging is to spend 7 money to get a disciple out of the reserve.
Right, and just in case you guys can't see it, I don't know, maybe you can. But if you're wondering, like, why in the world are there so many things to rearrange the cards? Well, if you think about it, could I have a blue meeple, Joe? If I have a blue meeple here, remember, on my turn, I get to do whichever one I want first. So, particularly if these guys were gone, too. I'd activate this guy first, rearrange the weapons, and hopefully be able to stack it going forward. Well, it would be next turn. But my point is, hopefully you would be able to re-put it in so that it comes up to what you want.
Yeah, I think what Mickey was meaning to do is, if he activates this one, he can look at the top 3 and rearrange of the action cards.
And then buy it, yeah.
And then he could activate that guy later to buy it. So, and then finally is the castle district, which is one that is kind of strange because it's divided into 3 portions of where you put your guys. If you put your disciple here, then when you activate him, you'd get 1 prestige point. If you put your disciple in either of these two, then you can draw one of the mission cards of your choice. And then when you put your guys here...
Yes, so when you visit the bower, that's bower, is that how you say it? Bower or bower?
I don't know.
The first person to activate it to change the player order automatically activates the whole thing. When the player activates it, adjust the player order in the following manner. Move all markers on the player order track slightly to the right. So
just move it off to the side.
Like that. And then the player with a disciple on the lowest number of the track places it onto any position on the player order track. Then the player, if any, with a disciple on the next lowest number places his onto any free position on the track. So, in other words, like 3 is going to go first, or no, that's the higher number, sorry. Blue would be able to go, oh, I want to go there. And then if there was somebody else there,
green,
they would be able to go. Now let's say there wasn't any more.
Yeah.
Then it goes yellow and red, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
It stays in the order if you weren't part of the system.
Yep. So those are all the things that you can do on these spaces. There's one other thing, but we'll mention that later. It deals with missions. And before we go to mission cards, on the player boards, you have the 4 annexes that we mentioned before. These are pretty much equivalent to these spaces in each of the things. If you own the annex, you're able to place one of your disciples on it, and there's an ability that it will give you. So if you buy a dojo, and for some reason you don't have a place to put a person on here, you'd be able to put him on the dojo to get an ability. Or if you just want to put him on the dojo, you can do it. Each of the annexes have a special ability. I think that's it, except for the thing that I said we didn't talk about is the mission cards. So should we start talking about those?
Sure.
All right. So this is a green one, just for example. At the top of it, it has the name of it. At the top of it is the name. Then there's some flavor text below it. After that, it says standard and bonus. So on the standard, there are requirements that if you meet these requirements, you get certain rewards. So for this one, you would need, it says the temple, which means you need a person or not the temple, the castle. You would need a person at the castle. You would need 1 geisha, and you'd have to spend 1 money. If you do those things, you get a prestige point and 7 money. If for some reason you also had a person in the red light district, when you do this, you'd also get 5 money as a bonus. Now the thing is, you need a disciple in the castle and the red light district. So in order to score this mission card, if I have a person in both of those places, when I activate one of them, so say blue, actually blue is a perfect example. If I activate one of the blue meeples, instead of using the ability on that district, I could say I'm using that disciple to complete a mission.
Right, because you're actually you're fulfilling the requirement of the location, so
yeah,
that's why you don't get to do the location power too.
Right, so you can spend a person to do one of the things at the districts, or you can spend them to complete the mission, and you would need that requirement on there.
Yeah, but I don't know if we mentioned when we went over I hope it wasn't too confusing, but the Bower action, that takes effect immediately, not on the next round.
Yeah, I don't know if we said it, but yes.
But just right. Because that's really important, like if you wanted to get 2 turns in a row or something like that, you could actually, depending on where it was, been like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, it's my turn again, or force somebody to go later or something.
Yep.
But it takes effect immediately. I don't know if we said that, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, you are. Good point.
So
after that phase, it's the end of the round.
Right.
So we'd start the round. We'd start the next round, and at the beginning of the next round is the prep phase. And the first thing you do is, as Mickey did, move the round marker up 1.
Yep.
After that, you return all markers to the bidding track. So depending on what the order is, you would just place them in the order, and we've rearranged it so blue is now number 1, and then green, and then yellow and red. After that is you add money to the church. So if somebody had taken this 3 money, when we do this phase, we would just put 3 money back.
If the 3 was still there, we only add 1.
Yep, so if the 3's there, add the 1. And then finally is, at the end of the prep phase, players who own a dojo automatically get...
These would all be gone.
Yeah, once you activate a disciple, they go
off the board.
And as I was saying, at the end of the prep phase, if you own a dojo, you automatically get 1 money. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, and then you would go right back into the bidding phase. So, that probably seemed like a lot. This game really isn't... It might be hard to explain, but it really flows pretty well. So.
Yep. And the game ends when the 11th round, or in the 11th round, at the end of it is the end of the game. The only other time that the game would end before that is the Kill the Shogun mission. It's one of the black missions. If you complete that, it says the game's over.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. And then after the game's over, you're going to score your prestige points. There's certain things that help, like bonus cards will grant prestige if you fulfill the conditions. You would just add those to your tracker, and then the highest prestige at the end of the game wins. Yeah. And that's it for the game. Also at the end, if you have your blackmail card, you would get 2 prestige points.
Yeah.
So that, I think the only thing that adds prestige points at the end of the game are the bonus cards, and if you have a blackmail card.
Right, which is all secret. So.
Yep. So that's it for
so I guess we'll reset up and then we'll play.